Well, I think we've learned a lot about our nation's ability to respond to a pandemic, some good, some bad. Our national stockpile situation was set up post 9/11 when we wrote the Pandemic All Hazard Preparedness Act to respond more to a chemical or biological or radiological attack. So it's stockpiled with things that you would need only in those circumstances, not necessarily aspirin or Tylenol or something, or PPE for that matter in any large measure. It was never set up to be the nation's warehouse for personal protective equipment for everybody all at once. The view was that the traditional commercial supply chains would provide for that, but this would be for isolated incidents, an Ebola outbreak in a specific airport or town, some sort of chemical biological outbreak somewhere that you would immediately ship things out. So we need to re-envision the SNS to deal with a coronavirus outbreak. And frankly, most of our planning processes were set up based on a model that was more like a flu model, not a coronavirus model. So therefore with flu, you don't have to do unlimited testing. Coronavirus, you have to test. And so we've learned that there need to be some changes in how the national response takes place and how states can be better partners as well in this process. Then on the vaccine and therapeutic side, I cabbed off a group of my staff on the Energy and Commerce Committee Republican side last spring to look at all of these issues. So we looked at therapeutics and vaccines. We looked at testing inadequacies and what needed to happen going forward, and we looked at the stockpile. And on vaccines and therapeutics, certainly the work that Fred Upton and others of us did on the committee to do the CARES Act and to reauthorize and modernize the approval processes at the FDA are bearing fruit. With the Emergency Use Authority and Dr. Hahn's leadership, we are moving things faster through the process than otherwise would have occurred, never, never, never shortchanging safety and efficacy. So when it comes to the vaccines, we're hopeful that these various companies coming forward with the vaccines and trials will, by late fall, have a vaccine that proves itself to be both effective and safe. And so in concert with that, we're using taxpayer money to produce vials of those vaccines right now. That will put us months ahead should the vaccine turn out to be positive. We won't be waiting for the manufacturing chain to do its part. We'll have it all manufactured, ready to go. If it's not positive, if it doesn't work, we dump it. But people will be assured that this vaccine will be safe and it will be effective. And so I think we've learned a lot. We'll continue to learn a lot, both about this virus and about our shortcomings and needs going forward. We need to wrap all that together then to see what other legislation needs to move to make sure that when we face another pandemic or another crisis, hopefully it won't be for 100 years like the last one back to the Spanish flu, but when we get there, we'll be even better prepared than we were for this one. But a coronavirus is not a flu virus. Our system was predicated on a flu virus scenario, and we've learned we can't do that again. So I commend our scientists, commend our leadership, Operation Warp Speed. The work that's been done there has been terrific, and we are making unprecedented historical progress on both therapeutics and on vaccines.